My name is Shayna Baser, and I'm an advocate at UNA-NCA, a nonprofit with over 2,000 volunteers in the greater Washington area working to advance universal human rights and dignity. I'll often hear from legislators, activists, even new UNA members, what are the SDGs? What do they do? And what does the UN have to do with anything that's happening in our own communities? At UNA-NCA, we saw this information gap as an opportunity to bring attention to the possibilities of the SDG framework. UNA bridges global goals with local action. So we started talking to community stakeholders about what limited their ability to effectively support community development, especially during COVID. Time and again, we heard lack of data and lack of unified benchmarks of vulnerability or resilience across sectors. A sustainable city doesn't just have low carbon emissions. Its residents are housed, fed, employed, healthy, and enjoy equitable access to public resources. We can't achieve any of these benchmarks when we think of them as separate. So we're leveraging the interconnectedness of the SDGs as a blueprint for inclusive progress with global goals at home, a program to capture the reality of inequality and critical need in our communities by cultivating more nuanced, accessible data and pathways for collaborative action. This project involves localizing every SDG target and indicator to DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and creating an online dashboard that any legislator, direct service provider, or educator can access. We're translating a global target, like 16.3, promoting the rule of law to ensure equal access to justice, into how that manifests locally. In this case, looking at rates of pretrial detention, police brutality, incarceration, and more. The Global Goals at Home dashboard consolidates metadata and analysis that we've gathered in partnership with food banks, housing advocates, think tanks, and global justice institutions, enabling us to understand our communities beyond the numbers with disaggregated data supplemented by visual and summative analysis. Right now, we're focused on our community, where there's a critical need and clear demand. But with your support, we can rapidly transform this dashboard into a grassroots-driven framework for any municipality to replicate and create their own local snapshot of the SDGs. Because when federal momentum stalls, we need our cities, our counties, and our communities to push progress forward. This is an exercise in community, both in the project's development and in its applications as an accessible, interactive digital tool for a diverse set of users. It's a launching pad for productive dialogue and raises the utility of the SDGs nationally. Together, we're able to educate and engage our community as we work to advance human rights and dignity for all, starting in our backyards. Thank you to the Journalists and Writers Foundation for this opportunity and for your consideration.